Well, as you can see, Spring Cheer is the name of this collection from our friends at Hunkydory, and Heidi has done some wonderful things with it. In fact, let me show you one of them. We'll get in close so you can really take a look. Isn't that drop dead gorgeous? Yes, it is. Okay, won't you please come play with us? Now, before we get into the projects, let me show you what's in each of these. Now, this is Spring Cheer Designer Deco Large Collection. Now, what that means, Deco Large, from Hunkydory anyway, is that you will get sheets. In this case, there are eight of them. And these are die cut and foiled, and they can be layered. So you have a large image, which generally is glued down flat. Then the next largest one goes foam taped. So you just match up the art. So it's really easy. Then you go to the next largest and then so on, just to fill it. You can use it on one piece or you can use it on multiple cards. Just, you know, you might decide that you want to have this on one card, but this one, save it for another card. That's perfectly fine. There's also a matching printed adorable scoreable cardstock. And then there's also this piece, which is the base of the card. So look at that. So that little guy has got, so this is removing the sky and removing this area of flowers, but it just gives you more art. Plus there is a greeting and some borders on this one. So that is the collection. So that is what they mean when they say Deco Large. Now this is a blue tit bird, and so that is going to be the next one I'm going to show you. So there you go. Same idea, all of those pieces, and there is the coordinating adorable scoreable that's printed. It is not foiled, but certainly all of the die cuts are, and that sheet of this is called a base layer. It says that up here. That is also foiled and die cut and beautiful for you. Now, let me show you. Now, these are the ones that Heidi did not use, so I'll show you what she did use when we get into that part. We've got bunnies. Aren't they darling? Absolutely darling. And there is the adorable scoreable. And there's also a swan and the matching cardstock. And there are the base layers right here. Let me turn them for you. Just sweet, aren't they? Okay, then there's also, now these I don't have the base layer because it was connected to the ones that I'm going to be showing you that she used. So this is Gardener's Retreat, and there is the adorable scoreable. And here we have a sweet little lamb that is all ready for you. And there is the adorable scoreable. So you'll be seeing those in just a minute. Okay, so that is the Spring Cheer. And as I said, you're going to get 2 of all of those. I don't think I said that, but you are. And that's going to be just perfect for you. Then we also have the coordinating Mary cardstock. Absolutely love it. And this has 16 sheets. There's 2 each of all of these colors. How pretty, as I wiggle them under the camera. So that you're going to be seeing those later as they are used in the projects, but just laying these out and you can see what's going on. Here are the others. So you're going to get 2 each of those. So I'll tuck that underneath. And then we have the Spring Cheer. Now this is a little book of Spring Cheer, and there are 20 different designs, and you're going to get 6 of each one. 6 of each one. So let me just walk you through the ones that were not used. There's 2 that were used, 2 I think, or 3. And this is one. Isn't that beautiful? In fact, this matches the card that I just showed you, and as you can see, that art in 3D and in 1D, I guess. So, and we have that's that Gardener's Retreat. We have the sweet little kitty. Now you get 6 of these. There's a vase, a little lamb. They are single-sided. We have a little gnome. They just pop up everywhere. And so some of these are kind of Easter looking, but there will be an Easter next year. Isn't that sweet? I don't recall seeing that little mouse before. And little chick. So you absolutely darling, the spring hat. And a happy puppy. And a horse. Kind of a pastel horse, isn't it? We have a cross and our swan and that sweet little bunny. So all of those, you're going to get 6 each. So useful to have. So this is the Spring Cheer collection. We've got shiny, we've got die cut and foiled, and we have the little book of. So let's get into the projects. And I'm going to start with this one. And this one I did not show you. And this is coming out of the Spring Cheer Deco Art. So you can see all of those layers. Now, Heidi used all the layers, so you can see this is getting a little thick with the foam tape because there were a lot of pieces. If you would like it not to be that high, you can certainly adjust that because it's all in your control, so that works. And this has, in fact, let me show you the pieces while we're here. Here is the base, and it's matched up with that lamb. And so the base has the vase and several greetings and 2 borders again. And what she did is she layered all of them onto this. And as you can see, you could just save that for another card if you wanted to. You could even save that and just pile up the flowers there. So lots of choices for you. And actually, as I look at this, that's exactly what Heidi did. She doesn't have the vase as a layer. She just has all the flowers. And let me just show you all those flowers. So they're just right there, just really a ton of them. Now, before I go any further, I do want to mention that this is a gatefold card. So it's going to open like that. So if you're not familiar with the gatefold, you will just take your card base, and our cards are 5 inches by 6.5. So you would take that card and lay it flat, and then you would score on each of the outside pieces 2.5 inches and 2.5 inches. Score that, and then fold them in, and that makes the gatefold base. Okay, so we've kind of looked at this and talked about it. The happy birthday is right here. And that was put just over the vase, which I think is really a good idea. And that's kind of a horizon line for the table that vase is sitting on. And so that was just set aside. So what Heidi did is she went into, remember you get the piece of pattern cardstock, and you can see that these outside edges is what she used to put on each of what we call the gates for the gatefold. Okay, so you would simply trim these down. And by the way, all of the measurements are down below. Just click on the card and it will take you right to the directions. So no question there. So you just cut that. This is 2.5 inches, so this is probably 2 inches. And cut it down narrower for the height of a card and glue it in place. And then she is using this of the Mary cardstock and just doing a strip that's about 1/2 inch wide and gluing it there. And then you repeat the process on this side so that they are identical. You kind of want to line up those stripes also, just so that it looks very polished. And so you're going to be using those areas right there. So that's going to leave this, so we'll come back to that in a moment. And when you attach something, you are attaching it to the left side. So the left side of this piece to the left side of the gate, and you can foam tape it. You can do it with just straight with adhesive. Heidi has foam taped it in place. And then she also added the longer greeting, which is this, now and always, happy birthday. And notice that this is positioned, in fact, both of them are positioned so that they're in the center of the card, even though they are only attached on the left-hand side, okay? So that just makes it really easy of opening. Then she put more of that Mary cardstock on each piece, and this light blue, well, that was this area. The woman is not going to waste anything, and so that goes there. This is one of the borders that's on this sheet. You can see that pastel flowers, so she has trimmed it there, and then she put some dazzles, and this happens to be the pink border dazzles. this sheet. And so she's done this on each side of those two borders. Now this is, of course, the rest of that sheet that was not used. So here we go. And she has first covered the inside of her card. Let me just show you. You can see that shine with the Miri. And then she has glued this card in place. And then, as I said, she did save some of the elements. So this is really a good example. So she saved that big piece and put it here, and then also this one. So the two that had the vases are here, and the second piece is flat. So she's got these two on top of the art that's already there. Now, in addition to those pink jewel dazzles, she also used some of our, she used the pink border. She also used the pink jewel and purple jewel. So let me show you on the corner. So there's a big jewel in purple and two little ones in pink, just like that. She's also put them on the front, on the corners of that base. And I know they're tiny, but they just add a bit of shine and a little professionalism too. So that takes care of our very first card. Okay, now I have another one out of that Deco Large kit, and this is the one that I showed you. And this time Heidi is using the teal Miri, gorgeous, and she used that to completely cover one of the center step cards. Now this is a die cut cards. We used to have a center step cutting die just like this, but that has been gone. But we do have a new one that's called a Center Step Plus, which means this has got one step. The Center Step Plus die has two steps. But to get this look, what Heidi did is she pulled the card out of here and simply, let's see, this is already folded. This comes with 5 cards and 5 envelopes. And she laid this flat and then placed it on the back of that teal Miri and traced it. Okay, you only have to trace 1/2 of it. So just trace this piece and then this piece. Okay, so you get your pencil in there and then cut it out and cover your card base with that Miri. Isn't that pretty? So you've got that gorgeous, gorgeous look. Okay, so that's step 1. Now let me show you what she used here. I guess that looks better on the white, doesn't it? Okay, so the next step she's going to use is to use the yellow area of this. Isn't that lovely? And there's flowers over there too. She's going to use that area to cut a piece. Actually, it's going to be the whole piece. That's going to be a little bit smaller than the piece that she just cut. So you can trace that twice and then just trim it smaller, okay? So that's going to fit in that front piece. And then she has taken, okay, we're going to go to this base layer, and this is going to be punched out and placed here. So notice it is turned. Okay, that kind of little heart, kind of shoulders of a heart, that's going to get turned like this, okay? And that, you can see it goes over the top and over to the bottom. So it's going the whole height of this card, okay? So place that there, and then you can start layering. And same thing, there's just all of these that you can use. And notice there are some extra wings for a butterfly, and that goes over the top of your top layer. So just let me show you that. You can really see it there, can't you? So this is all foam taped. Now, Heidi does recommend that you keep a layer or two for the inside. And I'll show you that in just a moment, okay? So this base layer is placed, then you're going to foam tape some of them. Notice how the birthday wishes has been just slipped in between the layers. That just works out very, very nicely. and more dazzles. These are copper dazzles, and there are 540 of these puppies on one sheet. So you can see, so she did large, medium, small. I think that's a nice look, and then some in the corners. On the step of her center step card, she has used this border and cut it to fit each of those steps. So that does a very nice job. It's just really a striking card, isn't it? On the inside, okay, on the inside, I have a pattern for you. I have a download. And where's my download? Here it is. Okay, so this is the size of it. So we just thought it would be easier to give you this. So this will be on the directions, but it is a download. And the measurements are there too. So here, this is going to be out of, so we use this on the top of the front of the card. So we're going to use this on the inside. So you're going to cut it according to the download, and then you're going to mat it on that same color of Mary cardstock that was used on the front. And notice that there's two layers. So also Flutter by Wishes and All My Love, they are there, and more of the copper jewel dazzles, just adding a touch of glimmer. One thing I should tell you is, we'll have to get in close, is that the center of that butterfly body, those are the copper jewel dazzles. So that looks, let me see if it's done on the front. Why, yes it is. So again, it just adds some finishing touch. So that works quite nicely. Now, with all of this product, Heidi elected to do 2 projects out of the Deco Large Spring Cheer, and then she's going to do 2 out of the little book. So here we go. And here is the first one. So we've got that blue tit, and this is on our 5 by 6.5 inch card. Now, Heidi didn't just stop with placing the image. This is the one that she used. She used several of them, in fact, a total of 4. So, first one is the actual size that it comes, just like this. But then she took another one and cut it to be 1/4 inch less on each side, okay? And then she took another layer and did it a 1/2 inch smaller on each side. And she took a fourth one, 1, 2, 3, 4, and did it 3/4 inch less on each side. And can you see the layering that's going on? How neat is that? It just kind of makes a pyramid. And so that worked nicely and pretty easily too. So again, and this is in the directions. So it's 1/4 inch less, then a 1/2 inch less, then 3/4 inch less. And then she foam taped those all together and matted them on this Mary, which is the green. Is that what I have? Where's my green? Oh my. Oh, I know. It's not Mary. Here we go. She used the Flit and Flutter cardstock. So this is the solid, as you can see, and you can see the green right there. And so it was matted on the Mary. It is on Mary, sorry. And then the that is attached to the card, which has been covered with the green Flit and Flutter. Now, on this, before you attach it, you can see that shine. Well, that's acetate, okay. Now acetate, okay, so here's acetate. And I keep a Post-it on it so that I don't lose it, because when I have my stack of supplies, this is transparent, you can lose it. So, okay, so we're going to take that and pretend this is my acetate. We're going to cut it to be 5.5 by 6. Then we're going to score it, and that's exactly what I did. I put this on the scoreboard, measured in a 1/2 inch on each side, and just used the bone folder. And then you're going to fold those back like so. And this is going to get attached to the back of this, okay? So I misspoke when I said to attach it. So just repeating, you're going to cover the card base with the green Flit and Flutter solid. Then you have this piece that's all of these layers that's matted on the gold Mary. To hold that in place, and it's not really holding in place, but it just is adding an extra element. So that's what the acetate is going to do. So wrap it around that. We would recommend using the extra sticky tape. This is the 1/2 inch, and you can place that on the back of the side pieces that you just scored, and then attach that behind the piece. And then you can attach that to the card base, okay? Now, can you see the hello? Well, that hello is done with our greetings, script greetings blue dazzles. Now, there are 3 sheets in here, and hello is one of them, not one that's on the top, but there are 3 of them. And there are also little flowers and hearts all through. And so hello is right there. And then there's a flower on each corner of the acetate. That bow is on top, and it is, as you know, if you know Heidi, it is made with the bow maker. And this is done with the 1/4 inch ribbon, excuse me, 1/8 inch ribbon. Here it is. And there's just a ton of colors in this. So this is the 1/8 inch ribbon set. And so both of those are going to make a perfect bow right there. Now for the inside of this card, she has used another piece of the Flit and Flutter solid. And then this is a one of the sheets in the 6x6 Flit and Flutter patterned. And so she has cut that down, matted it on the blue Mary, and then sending hugs with the hearts. That is all from that same set of dazzles, the blue greetings. And then another bow has been zotted in place just right there. Okay, so might be another thing to remember, that you can build up an image just like that, especially if you have multiple layers, multiple images of them. Now we've got one more project, and here it is. Isn't he cute? Absolutely darling. And this is a tent card. So you can see that fold is at the top, and it stands kind of like a tent, like that. Okay, that comes in a package with envelopes, and this is also from Hunkydory, very popular. And with this, she has taken the full sheet of this little guy and matted it on that pinky purpley Mary that's in the package, and then matted it once more. And in this, she used the Tulip Parade 12x12 pattern. You can kind of see the thumbnail of the pink that she used right here. So she's got the pink Mary and then a pink pattern, and they are all smaller than the card because she wanted to have that white edge. So that has been done there. The Thinking of You is one of the cutouts from the Tulip Parade pattern, and she has matted it on the same Mary and foam taped that at the bottom. So a really good look. That little hello is from the Tulip Parade die cuts, and that too has been foam taped. And once again, she's used the 1/8 inch ribbon and the bow maker and zotted that bow in place. Now going to the inside, she really took advantage of the Tulip Parade, and she has, now this is the truck obviously, but there's also a bicycle. So she trimmed around that, and she did have her card base covered in the blue Tulip Parade solid. And then Your Day Just Bloomed and Thankful for You. Notice that they are on opposite sides. Those are out of the die cuts. And this is another of the 1/8 inch ribbons, been zotted right there. So that takes care of that. So he really is kind of peeking at you too, isn't he? Okay, so that is what we have for you today. And as you can see, spring cheer with our little book of, as well as the Spring Cheer Deco Large, as well as the Spring Cheer Mary collection. So all of these are in a set. You can buy them separately, of course, but they are also in a money saver that's on the right-hand side of your screen. So that works nicely. Now, if you happen to be watching us on YouTube, we would just love it if you would subscribe to that, but then please head on over to paperwishes.com. We have the best pricing on Hunkydory, and we love to share it with you. And even though this is called spring cheer, you know, don't be misled by that, because there's certainly lots of seasons that this will span. So that's really nice too, not limited to just one season. And I do want to thank Heidi for doing just a great job. Most of all, I want to thank you for being part of our Paper Wishes family. Okay, well, that's it for today, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.